Assalamu alaikum students, how are you doing? Hope you are doing good and enjoying your life. So today we are going to take our grammar class, and we have done all the tenses in grammar, all the present tenses, all the past tenses, and then all the future tenses. And today we are going to do active and passive voice. So come to the board. So before doing active and passive voice, we should know what is a voice. So a voice is a form of word which tells us whether a subject is doing some action or some action is being done on the subject. Voice वर्ड की एक फॉर्म होती है जो हमें ये बताती है कि सब्जेक्ट कोई एक्शन कर रहा है या कोई एक्शन सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर किया जा रहा है. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू द फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ वॉइस. फर्स्ट वन इज एक्टिव वॉइस एंड द सेकेंड वन इज पैसिव वॉइस. In active voice, subject does some action. Subject does some action, and that is why subject is known as doer in active voice. यानी active voice में subject कोई action करता है, कोई काम करता है, इसीलिए उसको doer कहा जाता है, काम करने वाला कहा जाता है. Whereas in passive voice, some action is done on the subject. Some action is done to the subject, and that is why this subject is known as receiver. Passive voice में subject के ऊपर कुछ काम होता है और इसीलिए passive voice में subject को receiver कहा जाता है. यानी action इसके ऊपर this subject is receiving the action. You can see the direction of arrow. Here the direction of arrow is towards action. Subject is doing this action or subject does action, and here the direction of arrow is towards subject. It means that action is done on the subject. So getting it? Alright, look at the example. Example of active voice is I take exercise daily. Here I is the subject and this subject is doing some work. This subject does this work. So this is the action and this is the object. You can say the work. So subject does some work here or subject does some action here. But here in this case, in the case of passive voice, exercise is subject, but this action is done on this subject. This subject is not a doer here, this subject is a receiver here, and this action is being done on this subject, that exercise is taken by me daily. Both the sentences are same. This is in active voice and this is in passive voice, but here the subject is doer and here the subject is receiver. So the question arises here, why should we use passive voice when we can talk in active voice, when we can read all the passages which are written in active voice, when we can write in active voice? So why should we use passive voice? But we use passive voice when the object of the sentence, is the most important part. When object of the sentence is interesting. When we are interested in the object of the sentence, so we use passive voice. So mainly if object is more important, so we use passive voice. For example, rice is grown in Asia by farmers. We know that farmers grow rice, But we are not interested in farmers. We are interested in what is grown in Asia. So rice is grown in Asia. And next is lockdown was implemented by the government. So everybody knows that government implemented the lockdown, but this is understood, but we are interested in lockdown. This thing is more important. So this sentence has been written in passive voice. Next example is her car was stolen by someone. So we don't know who stole her car, but we know that her car was stolen. Subject is unknown here, but we know that her car, the object, was stolen. That is why this sentence has been written here in passive voice. So when the object of sentence is the most important part of the sentence, so we write the sentence in पैसिव वॉइस. जब सेंटेंस का ऑब्जेक्ट सबसे अहम हिस्सा होता है तो फिर हम उस सेंटेंस को पैसिव वॉइस में लिखते हैं. So when we want to change, when we want to transform the sentence of the active voice of a sentence into passive voice, what we have to do, what steps we should take. So let's see all the steps which we have to take while we are changing a sentence from active voice to passive voice. Step number 1 is that we should identify the subject, verb and object of a sentence. सबसे पहले हमें ये समझना होगा कि एक सेंटेंस के अंदर सब्जेक्ट क्या है, वर्ब क्या है और ऑब्जेक्ट क्या है. So look at the sentence. He eats chocolate. So we know that he is, what is he? He is subject, right? And what is eats? Eats is verb, okay? And chocolate, chocolate is object, right? So we have to identify that what is a subject, what is a verb, and what is an object in a sentence. Then after this, step number 2 is that when we are making passive voice of a sentence, so we change the object of the sentence into subject. So look in this sentence, what is the object here? Chocolate. So in passive voice, this object will be changed into subject. So we will write chocolate at the first place because subject is written at the start of the sentence. And after that, in step number 3, we have to identify the tense. That what is the tense of the sentence? So tell me, what is the tense of this sentence? इस sentence का क्या tense है? This is in present indefinite tense. Shabash. This is in present simple tense. Right. So we have identified the tense of this sentence. Now come to the step number 4. Step number 4 is apply a be verb. This is a very important step. We have to do this accordingly. Accordingly what? We will discuss it. So in the step number 4, we have to apply a be verb, and before applying a be verb, let's see how many forms of be verb are there. So look here, the forms of be verb are written here. So the root form or the base form is be, and the first form of be verb is, am, are. Second form is was, were. Third form is been, and the fourth form is being. So we have to apply some form of verb from there according to the tense of the sentence and the new subject. यानी हमें be verb अप्लाई करना है टेंस के लिहाज से और सब्जेक्ट के लिहाज से. So come to the example. Look here. The tense of the sentence is present simple. So we have first form is, am, are. But according to this new subject, what be verb is appropriate, what be verb is proper for this is am or are. Which is right? Is. Good. So we will write is here. Chocolate is. So we have applied be verb here according to the tense of the sentence and according to the new subject, which was object here. Come to the next step. Next step is we have to put the third form of verb or V3 after be verb. And this third form of verb is also known as past participle. So the verb here is eat. What is the third form of eat? Eaten. Right. So we will write eaten here. So now the sentence is chocolate is eaten. Now look, what is the next step? Next step is step number 6, add by. So after main verb, after V3, we have to write by. We have to write the preposition by here. So we will write by here. And now there is the last step. Look, what is this? Step number 7 tells us that the subject of the sentence will be changed into object. So what is the subject of active sentence? That is he, and now it will be changed into object. So the subject is he. What will be this subject when it will become object? Come, look this table. This table of pronoun. So there are two types of pronoun written here, subject and object, and we know that there are 3 persons pronoun. The first person pronoun is I and we, and I is first person singular subject and me is its object. And if we see we is first person plural subject and its object is us. You is second person singular plural subject and its object is also you. They is third person plural and its object is them. They is subject and them is object. He is the third person singular and used for boys, for men, and its object is him. And she is third person singular and is used for girls, for ladies, and its object is her. And it, if it is a subject, that is also singular third person, and it is used for animals and for non-living things, and its object is also it. So according to this table, according to this chart, we have he as a subject and we have to change this subject into object. So this will become him, right? So this sentence will be chocolate is eaten by him. So now this sentence has been changed into passive voice. The sentence, the active voice of the sentence is he eats chocolate and its passive voice is chocolate is eaten by him. You can see that now subject has become object. Right? And object has become subject. And this the verb, V3 and be verb. So this is a new subject, this is verb, and this is object now. So getting it? So you have to take care of all these steps while you are making passive voice. So go ahead. So how many tenses are there? Do you know? Do you remember? There are 12 tenses. What are they? Present indefinite tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, present perfect continuous tense, past indefinite tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, and past perfect continuous tense. Right? And for future, future indefinite tense, future continuous tense, future perfect tense, and future perfect continuous tense. But there are these 4 tenses whose passive voice is not possible. So, future continuous tense, present perfect continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense, and future perfect continuous tense cannot be changed into passive voice. So remember this, that these 4 tenses cannot be changed, cannot be converted into passive voice. Alright? Now, there are some other points which we have to remember, and in these points, first is that verb with 2 objects. You can see that in this sentence there are 2 objects. Miss Asma teaches us English. So Miss Asma is subject, teaches is verb, us is object number 1, and English is object number 2. So we can make the passive voice with any one object, with us or with English, and the next object will remain unchanged in the sentence. हम इन दोनों ऑब्जेक्ट में से किसी एक ऑब्जेक्ट को यूज करते हुए पैसिव वॉइस बनाएंगे और दूसरा ऑब्जेक्ट अपनी जगह रहेगा. For example, and usually we make passive voice with the first object, but we can also make with the second object too. So if we make our sentence, our passive voice with the first object, so it will be us. Object is us. So what it will be as a subject? Us will be we, right? We. And teaches. What is the tense of this sentence? Present simple. All right. So according to the subject, according to the new subject. And tense, what helping verb, what be verb should be here? Are. Okay. So we are, now the V3 of teaches, we are taught. Okay. We are taught. Now write English here. We are taught English by. This subject will become now an object, new object, by Miss Asma. So you can see that object number 2 will remain same, will not be changed. We use only one object. We can also use this object too. If we are using English as the object, so it will be English. Now English is singular noun, singular noun. So according to this singular noun, what should be the helping verb? What should be the be verb? Is, okay. So English is, taught will be taught. English is, now this object will be written here as 2. We have to add 2 here. English is taught to us, and now we will add by, and now we will write the new object, Miss Asma. So we can use both the objects, but only one object is used at one time. एक वक्त पे एक ही object इस्तेमाल होगा और दूसरा object अपनी जगह पर रहेगा. The next object will remain unchanged, will remain same. The second point which we should remember is that preposition of phrasal verb will not be removed. If there is a phrasal verb in the sentence, preposition will be at its place. अगर किसी sentence के अंदर phrasal verb मौजूद है तो उसकी preposition remove नहीं होगी, वो अपनी जगह ही रहेगी. Look in this sentence. He knocks at the door. So there is the phrasal verb knocks at. There is a verb and preposition. So this is a phrasal verb. So how will we change this sentence into passive voice? He is subject, this is verb, and this is object. Object will become subject, the door. Tense of the sentence is present simple tense, present indefinite tense, and the door is singular noun. So the be verb will be, first form is, the door is. Now the third form of this verb, knock at, this will be knocked at. Knocked at. So this preposition will be after the verb. This will not be removed, this will not be changed, this will remain at its place. So the door is knocked at by, he is subject and it will be changed into object. The door is knocked at by him. Now come to the third point. Third point tells us that if we have a transitive verb in the sentence, we can make its passive voice. But if there is intransitive verb in the sentence, we cannot make its passive voice. What is a transitive verb? The verb which has one or more objects. ऐसा वर्ब जिसके पास एक या एक से ज़्यादा ऑब्जेक्ट मौजूद हो उसको हम ट्रांजिटिव वर्ब कहते हैं. तो इसका पैसिव वॉइस बन सकता है. लेकिन अगर इंट्रांजिटिव वर्ब हो, व्हाट इज इंट्रांजिटिव वर्ब? अ वर्ब विच हैज़ नो ऑब्जेक्ट, विच नीड्स नो ऑब्जेक्ट, जिसको ऑब्जेक्ट की ज़रूरत नहीं होती उस वर्ब को हम, या जिसका कोई ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं होता उसको हम इंट्रांजिटिव वर्ब कहते हैं और इसका पैसिव वॉइस नहीं बन सकता. So for example, she buys a pen. If we look here, she is subject, buys is verb, buy is verb, and a pen is object. So this verb is transitive verb, and this can be changed into passive voice. The passive voice will be, a pen is bought by her. How? कैसे बनाया हमने ये? A pen object था, ये न्यू सब्जेक्ट बन गया. A pen. Buys प्रेजेंट सिंपल है और ऑब्जेक्ट के लिहाज से यहाँ हेल्पिंग वर्ब आएगा is. A pen is. Third form of the verb, buy, bought. So we have written bought here. Then we added by, and she will be changed into her. So a pen is bought by her. Look at this sentence. She goes there. So she is the subject. Goes is verb. And there is not the object. There object nahi hai. And this sentence has no object. So this verb go is intransitive verb, and that cannot be changed. This sentence cannot be changed into passive voice. Alright, so the explanation of passive voice ends here. Inshallah, in the next class we will do the practice of all the tenses. Till then, take care.